Thank you so much, Sierra. It's so nice to be here. It's been a little while. I think now in English they say a couple minutes. So it seems like the more recent way of describing it. Being a part of Ecoversities, although I'm kind of always part of Ecoversities, I have to say. So, um, yeah, so I was one of the small group that organized the first meeting 10 years ago, which is crazy. It's been 10 years, and I know we've moved in so many directions, and it's completely impacted all aspects of our life. I mean, I'm calling here from Hawaii. That's where I live. I've been here for 5.5 years. And the only reason I'm here is actually through a close relationship with someone else who has been involved since the beginning, Ku Kahakalau, who's a dear friend. She invited us to come here just over 5 years ago to visit. We've slightly overstayed our welcome, and we decided to stay and raise our children here. So, who also have been involved since Ecoversity since the beginning. Although they haven't, the last meeting we were at, the last gathering we were at together was in 2019, no, yeah, 2019, right before COVID came in Mexico. Yeah, and I've missed coming to these. Hopefully I can again at some point. And Udi too, my husband, my partner, my co-conspirator. Um, so yeah, I just appreciate being here in this big question of how we deal with money and economy. And so I've been thinking about this and trying to redesign this and co-opt this in all sorts of ways. Actually, since I used to work in the walls of academia in university, and I left it because it wasn't fulfilling. I left it because it was too much of a business. I left it, and that's kind of where Ecoversities started from, is us looking into different models and economy being one big aspect of that. Um, Recently I've been part of a research project here looking at the economy of a really important native plant called hala. It's also called pandanus. It's the screw pine, and it's actually one of the projects. It's in the website I shared. Um, and I've been looking at this, I've been talking because hala was used for everything in Hawaii and across the Pacific, woven into literally the sails that brought folks here over 1,000 years ago initially. And it's still it was, part of the bedding on the walls, on the floor, very important, both practical, but also spiritual plant. And so right now I've been talking with all sorts of folks about what that means for them. Been talking with weavers, folks who are still part of that more ancient practice and spiritual practice of weaving. I've been talking with ecologists who are trying to reforest with hala. Hala is a really important plant along the edges of the cliffs. Um, and so there's like lots of different views about what economy means for that. And what I like to think about is that the original word economy literally means managing the household. It has nothing to do with money. Um, and not only that, I was reading more about that, and it literally meant stewarding the context you were living in. So not just managing, but actually caretaking. And not just the actual house you live in, but the human and non-human world in which we all live. And so I think that's a really important place to start, because if we can rethink and redesign how we interact with that in mind, it changes everything. Um, and so it's been an interest of mine for I don't know, 20, 25 years as a student, as a researcher, as a just how I live my life. And, I think it does tend to become, money corrupts, but money is also really important. I mean, how we navigate, living in this world and society where it gives us a livelihood. It gives us a livelihood, which I love. I know is a concept and idea kind of born within the Ecoversities Alliance. And personally, I lived outside of the United States for almost 20 years, and we're back in, although Hawaii is wonderful because it doesn't quite feel like you're in the United States. So I feel like I'm kind of in between worlds. And we started this group, this Enlivened Cooperative. I shared the website. 5 years ago, that was actually why we came here to start this with Ku and other friends. Ku's still sort of involved. She's become more, I mean, because she's Native Hawaiian, she's very involved locally here. And so she hasn't wanted to leave the community, but she's not as involved as she wanted to be initially because she's just pulled in too many directions here locally. Um, there's also Gerardo Lopez and Amaro Lopez and Ana Maria. They both are very involved. So it's all kind of and Franco and Paige, who's my sister, and Adomis. There's like us, and we're all a group of friends. And I know Yayo. Um, I remember talking with him and within Unid Tierra about the just the huge importance of organizing anything with friends and close relationships. And so we started this organization really as a way to bring us together that we could engage and access funding in a way that just felt friendlier. And my time's up. I will hurry. Um, I just need one more minute. I'm sorry. Didn't even know. It's very early in the morning here, so I'm like trying to still figure out where I am.
No
But
worries.
so I'll just hurry with this. So we did register as a nonprofit, which means that and in the United States, because it is easier to access funding here, in some ways, though not anymore, as we all know for multiple reasons. But the goal for nonprofits are, to bring money back into the organization. And the goal of a cooperative, which is a slightly different thing, is to bring money back into all the members who all have an equal voice in all decision making. Whether or not you have a ton of money or no money, if you're part of that group, you have an equal voice, one vote, one person. And so we liked both of those, and we wanted to kind of marry them, bridge them into this organization. And so we are a worker-owned nonprofit, even though we're registered as a nonprofit. But what that means is we are equal members, we have equal ownership, we are not designed in a way that we have a board on top of us telling us what to do, like lots of nonprofit organizations in the US are, but rather we have a group of kind of also friends who are sort of on the side of us, who give their own ideas and advice. We can take it or leave it, but that's how we are organized. We talk openly about all aspects of funding. Um, we try and, when money is coming in, we try and look at it not from a kind of everyone earns the exact same amount in terms of the number, but more in our livelihood, where we are, living wage. And so we really try and deal with as much transparency on all that as we can. Because from our point of view, that's one of the most important things we can do because we do live in all of us live in different places. There are different costs involved of what that means. Some of us have kids, some of us don't. So we're just really open about that. And doesn't mean it's always super smooth, but I think if we can start with that space of being open-hearted and transparent, and I know Ecoversities operates in a very similar way that it works pretty well, and it kind of keeps us practicing what we preach, which for us is also a really important part of all this. So, and we also started the Enlivened Cooperative, and we purposely call it a cooperative because we want folks to know where we really take seriously designing ourselves like that. We started as a space to allow for members of Ecoversities and beyond who want to share, projects, ideas, and this way of kind of working together as a more open platform. And so that's how and we still hold that. And we're busier sometimes than others with that. But I think the design of how we form any organization is really crucial, and those being really clear on values that are shared, on practices that are shared to kind of reflect those values. My work now, I'll talk just 30 more seconds, in Hawaii is organizing and supporting cooperatives across the islands. And one thing I've been bringing in with others in this work, it feels very Ecoversities-like because we're doing a lot of things without money just because we believe in it, is we've been supporting folks who are growing indigenous, more ancestral foods, really to think about these different types of designs. And one of the ways we've been trying to further co-opt our very messed up economic system is to have plant membership. So non-human membership is part of the cooperatives that I am working with here. So, which I find really exciting. So, just quick example, I've been working with a bunch of mamaki tea growers, and mamaki is an endemic plant. It's a medicinal plant. It's a culturally, spiritually very important plant here. It's like a nettle, the which has lots of little stinging parts to it, but here they don't have the stingers. And and so this group of farmers, of growers, so they're part of, they're members of the cooperative, but we also have Mamaki as a member. And we have cultural practitioners, elders who are advising us about how we bring in the voice of Mamaki for our decision making. So it's not only about being equal between us as humans, but being more equal with us, with Mamaki having a voice. Is what we're doing serving Mamaki? How does Mamaki want to grow? Mamaki actually likes being trimmed back, cultivated. It probably likes to be consumed. So, and I think one aspect of this is it's super exciting because you can be innovative. You can create and design how you want to. And so even though it's in the current system, I love that you can be more free and creative, and really think about these various principles that are more about flourishing and nourishing not just each other as humans, but the non-human world around us, and kind of taking over that original meaning of economy. So I'll stop there. Thank you so much, Sierra, for bringing me in. Awesome to be in this group. I'm going to stay on too and just listen. It's so nice.